Sure. Hello, everyone. So this is another session of Manavotsav, and as you all know, that we have been actually capturing stories from Leicester, people who have made Leicester, and people who continue to make Leicester. And today we have got a special guest with us. I'm not going to introduce her yet, but I'm going to actually bring in to the studio today first Kamla Patni, who is the founder, director of Celebrate Our Similarities, a charity, community interest group in Leicester. And once I bring her in, then of course both of them are going to have a wonderful conversation today. Hello, hi Kamla, how are you doing?
Hello, good afternoon. Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon. We're all good. Yes, everything okay.
Mhm.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about cause and what you're working on, and then of course then introduce the special guest that we have today?
Yes, I'd love to.
Fantastic.
Celebrate Our Similarities is a community interest company set up here in Leicester, and we are about recognizing our humanity. And Celebrate Our Similarities is about the different cultures and different peoples of the world, actually, recognizing that we all share very similar ways of relaxing, similar ways of finding our, our center, our uh, safe place, or however you want to call it, be well-being. And what we're saying is that we've got two key themes that we focus on, which is personal peace and climate. And underneath that, we recognize all the things that make us human, such as food, water, air, well-being, mental health, equality, good sleep. All of these things we need to keep a balanced community, balanced society, and a balanced individual, because ultimately that's what makes a difference. The individual has to be in a good place for everything else to fall into place. And we identify good practice examples that we'd like to share in the city to start with, which we think is quite unique. And we want to make Leicester an exemplar city for social impact. And we're sort of bringing different groups, organizations, businesses to come and join us in developing ideas. And the Manav Utsav, which is what we're celebrating today, is commemorating the South Asian Heritage Month. So for Leicester, it's quite significant in that we have a huge majority. In fact, 55% of the population is from the BME background, and we South Asians make up most of those. And so yeah, so basically, we would like people to get involved. And one of the key things that we want to do for the 21st of September this year is to build on our yearly annual event celebrating International Day of Peace. And we're hoping that maybe around the 14th of September, we will hold an event that will coincide with the British Science Festival that the De Montfort University is hosting as well. So we're hoping that we will get good backing from sponsors as well as organizations to deliver this. And we're currently working with the Morningside Arena potentially, or a smaller venue to deliver this with various collaborators. So that's basically what's imminent. But there are many other things that we've been doing and we're planning on doing. So we would like people to stay connected with us. So more than enough said about Celebrate Our Similarities. Now I'd like to introduce our today's special guest for the Manavotsav Festival, and that's Taranjit Kaur. So let's wait. Here she is. Hi, Taranjit. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Lovely to see you. I met you about probably about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, yeah, good to see you too.
I know, and things have moved on so much since then. So it'd be
Yeah, yeah.
great to have a chat with you. So Taranjit is She used to be the president of the DMU Enactus, and I'll let her tell everybody what she, well, all her background. So how you. So I want, I'll let you start. Introduce yourself first, and then we'll go into some questions and general discussion. So
Sure,
over
sure.
to you.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. As you already introduced me, I am Taranjeet. My background, actually, my both parents are Indian. However, I was born in Italy, so I consider myself a bit more of Italian because I lived there for around 18 years. So yeah, most of my life I spent there. When I moved to England, I think one of the first things that I've done was getting some work experience done, also because I needed to get settled. After a while, I realized that okay, maybe now it's time to go back to studies and carry on with what I started back in Italy. I think one of the issues that I was having, such as like probably most students in an early age, they sort of have this sort of pressure and they are a bit confused about what career path they want to choose or what they want to become in the future. And the same thing happened with me, of course. When I was a child, I wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to become, a nurse, and then I wanted to become a teacher, and then, a police officer. I was basically all over the place, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So when I slowly grew up, I started, prioritizing things and see what I preferred. So I've done linguistics in my college. And I studied culture and different languages and arts and stuff like that. Then again, as I said, I moved here to England, and after working for a while, I realized that okay, maybe yes, I want to go back to studies. But then again, the question was, what do I want to study? And that was a tough one for me. Let's say I've done long research about what I wanted to become. I taken off all the boxes, and I finally chose to study business management and economics at De Montfort University. To be honest, my journey with the reason why I chose De Montfort University might sound funny, but De Montfort University was the first and last university that I've been to for an open day. The first time I went there, I loved it and I chose it. That's basically my story why I chose it. I know it sounds a bit funny, and some people might be asking, well, maybe you should have explored different options. But I think I just fell in love with the place. People here, the staff was very, very amazing, very welcoming. So I just, I couldn't. I was like, yeah, I need to stay here. So I just love this place, and it was nice and local because I live in Leicester. So I could save some money instead of going into accommodation or anything. So when I started studying, it was of course COVID time, online studies for my first year. So nothing much to do, but I was working part time because I'm an independent person, so I like to be financially independent. Um, Second year came by and I was like, okay, finally now COVID is now here, so what do we want to do about that? Let's get the most of it. And I also realized that okay, there is only 2 years left now, and I need to get going with my career path. I need to understand what I want to do and how I want to do it. So I just started doing some research on Google. Basically, that's what I did. I was like, what kind of experience should I have beforehand, in sort of to improve my chances of getting a job once I graduate. Doing that, I realized there was an amazing society in Actus, which I could join, and then that's how basically I joined in Actus. And first of all, I was just a member, a normal member of the society at the end of the first year. Then, because I fell in love with the values that the society had, such as being a bit more sustainable, and they actually teach you how to run a business. There are so many skills that you can actually learn from this experience. So I was like, okay, there was an open opportunity for myself, for I could become one of the committee members. And I was always thinking about, taking a lead. So I was like, why not, becoming the president? And after, the nominations and everything, I finally got chosen for this role. And myself with my amazing team, the whole committee, and of course the hard work of the, Enactors members, we've been thriving this year, well, last year. We have won some amazing awards from Enactors UK, of course. We've been chosen for different awards. I personally have had many different achievements, but most of all, I think the thing that actually most matters to me is we've been able to change people's life. We've been able to, help lots of children with their dental hygiene. We've been able to, open the first allotment on campus. That was amazing. We've been able to help so many, homeless people as well. And there are so many other projects that not myself anymore, but the current team is working on as well. So I think this was the most amazing thing that I've done in my life. I think this was the best decision that I ever made, of becoming a part of Enactors, because other than just having some experience, leading a team, we grew the team from, I think, under 10 members, and now we are 50 plus. It's amazing to see how big we've come so far, and we couldn't have done it. And again, as I said, I didn't have much prior experience, and I thought I couldn't do it because I've never been a president of anything.
Well
So
done.
it was the first time when it came to me. I felt a bit of, the responsibility. Of course, you have so many things to do and you don't have experience, but I was given some training from DSU and from Enactors, and slowly, thanks to my colleagues, as in like all the committee members as well, we learned along, the journey. We made the right decisions. We were learning from each other as well. We were asking for support. We were asking from Limor University support. There are so many amazing staff who has helped us come so far. I can't even mention one name because it's just there are so many people who have helped us throughout this journey. It's just amazing, to be honest. And thanks to this journey, I've been able to secure a placement with Enterprise as well, which I'm currently working with. Other than that, I've been also able to win the Entrepreneurial Student of the Year award from De Montfort University, thanks to my leadership skills. But again, as I said earlier, I couldn't have done anything without my whole team. So I don't want to take the credit for anyone. So yeah, that's basically it for myself. That was my journey. And I think if you are unsure about what you want to become, or it's all right to be unsure, it's all right to be confused. You will know along, when things will come to you, when opportunities will come to you, you will learn what's the right thing for you. If you're passionate about what you're doing, then that means that you are doing the right thing. Because personally, I wouldn't do anything that I'm not passionate about, that I'm not loving, because it's just too hard for me to do something that I'm not keen in. So
It's lovely to hear that sort of you recognize your own strengths. So you knew that you didn't want to study at a certain point, and you were ready to do the things that you wanted to do at the time, but also you stayed open to opportunities, so you recognize that that's what you wanted to come back to, and you actually did that. So that's very good advice to young people coming into the higher university level education, to say that if you do feel overwhelmed with ideas, or underwhelmed about what you want to do in terms of university, that there are the time is still okay to take time to work out what you really want to do, because it is more important to do something that you enjoy than to do something because you feel you need to do it, kind of thing. So that's really good advice. But I just love your story. I mean, I know that we spoke for probably about an hour one time on Zoom, but I never realized that you were born in Italy, or you lived in Italy for such a long time. So tell me a little bit about that, because I mean, did you learn Italian as your first language there at school?
So I am bilingual. I've learned Punjabi along with
More than
Italian. So I
bilingual.
speak both languages at the same level. I'm not gonna say I'm great in both languages, but I can speak. I can go around and talk.
Yeah, but it's not just bilingual, you're trilingual, aren't you? You speak English
Technically
as well.
speaking, I also speak French and German. But yeah, let's not go to that side.
I don't know what that's called, five-lingual. Brilliant. That's really, really good to hear that. So did you have any issues when you came here to turn back to English because of
um,
you?
so in Italy, English is a second language. So
Okay.
you have to learn English from the very, very first, when you're in first grade and so on.
Yeah.
However, as per myself, because my family was Indian, I grew up watching English TV. I used to watch English cartoons all the time.
Mm.
I grew older, I started watching Netflix. I'm
Okay.
all over the place. Probably you can see from my accent, it's a bit American. So this is how my English improved. However, I've studied languages a bit more in detail when I went to college for 5 years. I've studied literature and history and arts in different languages.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's really good to know. So, in terms of the leadership role you took in Actors, tell us a bit about that because I mean, leadership as a young person is a very valuable thing to achieve at an early age as well. So you can really use that for all your future endeavors, I would say. So tell me a little bit about that experience then.
So my leadership experience actually started from when I was back in school. I always loved projects. Whenever my teacher was like, there is a project, I was like, yes, I want to take it on. Bring it on. I'm all right. I want to do it. So I've always been very interested in leading and doing some projects, so managing the projects to see all the process and
You
everything.
need to go. You need to go on The Apprentice, then, don't you?
So I
You put your
started.
application in.
Yeah, yeah, I could do that. So since school, I always sort of was into leadership, but I never knew that it was leadership. When you do something without actually realizing. Then I moved to England and I started working in a warehouse as a packer. Again, if you know what a packer is, it's a very hard job, as in like you don't do much, but it's very tiring. um
Mhm.
so that was my first job here in England. Had no prior experience in any sort of jobs, and it was a nightmare for myself. It was my first job. I was 18, and the job was not as I was expecting because I grew up thinking about, okay, the first job I'm gonna get is going to be in a nice office. I will be sitting, I will have a cup of coffee and all nice and shiny, but that's not the reality. So my first job was as a packer and I worked hard. And I was promoted to becoming a team leader. So that was my first role as a team leader, which I did for 1 year because of COVID. After that, the company has to move to a different place, so I had to leave the job. However, that was the first time where I actually got to experience leadership skills in an actual workplace, because in schools it's different. Even though you are a leader, there are teachers there, so you are not fully independent, as in like you are not really leading as much as you think. However, workplace is different. It's a whole different atmosphere. You will meet different sort of people. There are going to be some very, very nice and honest people who actually like what you're doing, and then there are of course other kind of peoples as well who might not to work as much, and you get different sort of people, and you need to know how to deal with them, and you need to know how to communicate with different sort of people and how to get what you want out of them. So I think thanks to this experience I learned how to do this. I was I've been able to hitting the targets, because that's something that even though you have in schools is a bit different. I think you know what I mean. Schools is a bit more delicate. It's all right if you don't do it on time. Even though the teacher might be a bit annoyed, but still, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But however, if you don't hit a target on work, it means it could be, the end of your work, or
Your
the whole
income.
contract. So
Mm.
it's different. So there are actual challenges there. So it was amazing working there. So after finishing this job, because COVID started, I started working in a different warehouse. With a it was a I think it was a 16 hours part-time job that I was doing just because I wanted some money, and I was doing studies along with it as well. So that's when I started going to university, and I realized that there was a society. And when I was given the opportunity to become a president, then I was a bit more confident. However, becoming the president and being a team leader are a bit different, roles. There's still leadership role, however, it's different because the audience is different. It's going to be students. There is a whole different way to communicate. There are so many things that you need to be learning, and there are so many skills that are needed for a specific position like that one. So for me, at the beginning, I was very new. I didn't know much about enactors. However, there was an amazing we had amazing committee members who more or less were in the same boat. So we were there for each other. Whenever we needed help, we asked each other. We had an amazing team at Enactors UK who helped us 24/7. Whenever we had a question, we went to them. They were like, don't worry, we will help you out. DSU has been also amazing, helping us with the training as well. So thanks to the different sort of training and support that we received, I've been able to sort of become a bit better leader, I think. And yeah, that was pretty much my experience. And I'm not gonna say I learned everything. I think even though it doesn't matter where are you at the moment, you will still learn. No matter how much experience you have, you can always learn from different things, from different people. You never know.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think your leadership skills really do shine through, because I know that you've, as part of your role, ended up in at the UN. But we'll go into that in a little while. Save that for a little later. But how was it for you to then balance all of this with home as well? If you say you were like to be independent and whatever, it must have been very busy. So how did you
Um,
do
Yeah, so for me it was very, very busy because it was university life. So second year, it's as you probably already know, second year is different from the first year. So
that?
second year a bit more difficult. Then I was doing a part-time job because, as I said earlier, I like to be financially independent. Then I was doing a president job as well, which was society related. So for me, balancing these three jobs was a bit difficult. However, when it comes to passion for myself, because I was so passionate about my position as a president, because of the society, about because of the work that we were doing at the society, I was always available. I didn't care what time it was. I think my all the members, not probably if you ask any of the members of the society, they might be able to tell you that if there was any sort of issues going around, or they had any questions or queries that came to me, I usually used to respond within an hour if I'm not busy. So it doesn't matter if it was night or day. I just loved the job that I was doing so much that it was easier for me to balance my life. However,
Mm.
if I didn't like the job, I think it would have been very, very difficult for myself to balance that out, because not being passionate, you get frustrated because of the responsibility. Um, and I think because it was end of COVID, so beginning of the new year, and we had to take the society to a different level. So there was so much going on, and there was so much pressure and responsibility that not only me, but all the committee members had. So it was difficult for us to manage that. But thanks to our passion, I think we've been able to thrive this year.
Yeah. So in terms of those projects that you're talking about, what happened during COVID then? Did you have to stop them completely? Did you redirect your energies somewhere else in food banks or whatever? What happened?
So the previous projects that we had, there were only three projects. There was Reskill to Skill, which is a completed project, which is more a sort of a podcast series, where we are promoting sort of the creative industry. I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but I think a few years ago, the government said that all the students that had creative skills had to sort of find a different job. So it was a bit difficult for all
That's
these
true.
people to sort of work within that industry that they loved to work in. So that podcast series was more related to that specific sector. As per, we had a project Lily, a project that was based on women empowerment. So during this period, I'm not really sure how much we've been able to do because I joined at the end of the time. So
Mm.
I joined at the end of my first year. However, at the time, I think that we're trying to, a bit more collaborate with different sort of restaurants, pubs, to get, sort of a way to promote what we were doing in the project. Unfortunately, I can't go into details at the moment,
Mm.
but it was a bit difficult because of COVID. These restaurants, these pubs were closed, so
Yeah.
it was difficult. However, I think this time was enough for us to reflect on the mistakes that we've made in the past and to improve them. So once the COVID rules were lifted up, we would be good to launch again. So
Yeah.
this is what happened with Project Lily. However, I personally was in Project EnviroGreen. What we did was we made sure that we were ready to launch before you know uh, the COVID rules lifted up. There were so many challenges coming our way because there were issues regarding the land where we would be placing our allotment, regarding the funding. But at the end of the day, we have been able to come to that after our first long year, where all we've done basically is the admin jobs, going through different sort of applications, trying to look for the funds here and there. We've been able to, find a nice location. So I think during the COVID, I think this is what we've been able to do is made sure that we were nice and prepared to launch once the rules were lifted up, and I think that's what we've been able to do this year.
It probably strengthened you whilst you were in that quiet mode to be ready to really run for it as soon as the lockdown measures were closed down and whatever. So that's really good. So on the allotment, then tell me whereabouts is it, and what are you growing on it, and how many people are involved, and where did you
Um,
find the volunteers?
so when it started, I think there were only 6 people in the project. I was not one of the founders. However, I did become the project lead of the project once I joined. After so much struggle, we've been able to find a location near the Edith Murphy building. So it's just around the corner there. It's a nice location that was provided to us by the grounds team on campus, and they've given us some training on how to sort of plant, how to grow different sort of plants and what plants are best to grow. So we've had that sort of chat with them during COVID to understand what sort of plants we should be growing and what is the season, because all of us, all the students in the project had the idea about growing an allotment. However, none of us had any sort of experience on how actually do this. So it was very important to us to get trained about, okay, how do we do this? What are the best plants to actually plant on the allotment? And we realized that there is so much to learn. What I thought at the beginning was maybe, okay, just get a plant, plant it, and that's it. Then you water it, then you just cut the crops and all that, but it's different. There are plants that go with each other. There are plants that you can actually put next to each other. So there is so much to learn, and we've been able to do it thanks to the grounds team. They have been amazing. As per the plants that we've been planting, I've not seen the allotment for a while since I have, the committee members have took over. But the last time that I checked, we planted some carrots, we planted some potatoes. There were some sunflowers, some strawberries, lettuce, and then there are so many other things that we planted. Tomatoes. I can't remember all of them on the top of my head, but there are so many things that we've planted.
So how did that work then? That the volunteers that got involved got to have those kind of vegetables and what you grew, or was it sold, or was it, how
So
was it distributed?
So the plants that we were growing have not fully grown yet. This is something that
Mhm.
we have
Oh, yeah,
learned
'cause
from
we didn't have that long. Yeah, that's
but
right.
it's not that easy. So
Yeah.
we started our allotment, very, very late around April time. And we thought, okay, we plant these now, and that's going to be ready in a week or a month or whatever, and then we are good to go. However, it does not work that way. So I think we've been able to learn quite a lot, but that has bought us some time to create a different sort of a team, the volunteering team that we call. So there is a team as in Enviro Green team, and then there is a different team which is only for volunteers. So if you don't want to be a part of Enviro Green, so you don't want to deal with all the rules and regulations that we have from the society, but you do want to come and enjoy the allotment, then you can be part of these volunteers team. um, all you can do is basically water the plants, come along, you just plant with us, and just have some fun with us. That's basically what a volunteer does. We've been able to see lots of interest. I think we had a team last time that I was because I'm not in the group chat anymore, unfortunately. I think last time there were 10 to 15 people who were in the group chat, and it was actually very, very nice to see, because everyone had different ideas, and they were asking if different people could get involved, which has given us sort of different ideas on how to sort of make progress, how to improve our skills, and how to improve the project. So in that way, also other people could join, not only environment members, or not only university students, but we are making plans for a wider community.
I see. So most of your people that volunteered were students for the time being, but now you've branched out. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Um, so those were the plans when I left leading the
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
However, I've not been able to get in touch with the current team leader, so I will not be able to say what they are currently doing.
Mhm.
However, we were planning to sort of expand, but when I say expand, it's more about the education that we want to provide to different sort of students, to different sort of ages, about the allotment, not only because it's healthy to eat organic food, but it's also because we want to promote sustainability. So that's something that we were looking at, because as you said, we will mention this later, what we talked about at the UN. However, something that came across was a common reason, or a common thing that we all came up with was lots of people like myself had no prior knowledge about the SDG goals or sustainability until they got into university. So that's something that we wanted to prevent. So we were trying, I'm not sure where we are at the moment, where environment is at the moment with this project. However, we are trying to collaborate with the schools, so we can try to sort of educate them with some sort of extracurricular activities to make it more fun, to give them that sort of knowledge, to educate them about why this is important, to actually sort of what something that I said was plant a little seed in their little heart. That's what we are trying to do. However, I'm not quite sure where the project is at the moment.
Mm. That sounds absolutely amazing, and I feel very interested in from the our celebrate our similarities point of view as well, because um, we held an event the other day where we were showing a documentary from London called The Power to Change, and it was so well received. And somebody said exactly that, that the seeds have been planted and now we need to nurture them, and we need to make things happen. And that was related to giving options to people about changing their lifestyle away from knife crime and other crimes and whatever, and the impact that our benchmark good practice example has been making in London, that we want to share here in Leicester. So and that's an area that is related to also the fact that we want to promote the SDG 16, which is what the De Montfort University is, the international hub for, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. Well, our benchmark is peace education, by the United Nations recognized ambassador of peace. So I just think Leicester is so uniquely positioned. So I do get quite excited about just talking about the possibilities. So, but you have conveniently brought me on to the lovely subject of you going to the UN. Thank you very much. So tell us how you felt. And I saw the live thing actually, and you were amazing. This is not just an exaggeration or being polite. You actually did shine through with your confidence. So congratulations on that, first of all. And now you can tell me all about it.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I was very nervous. The whole trip
No, it
was
didn't
very
come through.
exciting for myself.
It
Never
did
been
not
to New York
show.
before, never been to the UN before.
Yeah.
So to me was different, in a nice way, however.
Yeah.
I went to the New York. The first few days was just sightseeing, which was an amazing experience itself. However, when we stepped in the United Nations, headquarters, that was a different feeling. I was very nervous because we had to meet such huge, entities, and it was just, it was like a dream. I couldn't even imagine that that was actually happening. I was like, okay, these are the people that I watch on TV, those are the people I'm actually meeting at the moment. So it was very unique, the experience that I had. I've been telling everybody, I felt at home. I felt the moment I walked in the headquarters, I felt at peace. Um, it was so nice and quiet. The staff was so welcoming and so nice that all the anxiety that I had, all the worries that I had about the presentations and meeting these amazing entities, it all calmed down. So for a moment I didn't realize why we were there. I was just enjoying the moment, and just it was so nice to be there. And it was like being in a dream, and it was like, yeah, I can't be here. That's not true.
Pinch yourself.
Yes, so I pinched myself, but yeah, I was there, so that was amazing. We've been able to, see the headquarters. We had a nice tour around. We've seen different sort of, history at the museum that they have there, and we've been able to also purchase some items from the stores that they had. We've been able to meet these amazing entities, which again, it's just unexplainable. There are no words to explain how I felt the moment that I actually met them. I remember when I did my presentation, I was very nervous when I started. I had my notebook with some notes on it, because I was like, I can't go wrong. This is the United Nations. I can't mess up with my presentation. And I remember that Katie, our vice chancellor, was also there, and she also was amazingly supporting. Um,
Yes, I
Everybody
saw
was
that.
telling me, "All right, you will be all right. Just be yourself." But I was very nervous. I started off with the presentation that I had, and I realized that, well, you know what? I don't actually need to think about it, because that's my experience. I know
Passion.
what my experience
Yeah.
is. So I started off being very, very nervous, but at the end, I got relaxed because I was like, oh, well, that's what I'm doing. Why should I be, worried or scared about
Mm,
talking about my own life? Because,
yeah,
it's not something that I'm not doing that I had to memorize. It's just something that I've done. So that was amazing. And the feedback that was given to us, it was superly amazing as well, because they actually showed us that we were going on the right way, so we were taking the right directions. However, of course, there's always space to improve ourselves, but it was just amazing to see that they agreed with what we were doing. They wanted to enhance what we are doing, so that was just speechless.
absolutely. And yeah, you're right. I mean, first of all, you did not look like you were nervous at all when I saw you on there. And I noticed that the Vice Chancellor was very supportive of all of you, and the conversation there was just so relaxed. And when you started off from the student side of things, it never showed that you were nervous at all. I can tell you that. So well done to you, I say. And also, I mean, a lesson to learn from that is that, when you do something, like you said, with passion, or if that's of interest to you, it does carry you, doesn't it? And
Yes.
also, if you get that kind of good feedback from as high a level as your vice chancellor and the UN, it gives you that confidence, doesn't it? That your way of thinking is appropriate and it can work, and you can just simply build on it, couldn't you? So
Yeah.
that's a really good lesson for anybody that's listening. Young people who are listening to um, have that confidence and have that hope and have that faith that if you follow your dreams, you really can get
Yes, of
anywhere,
course. I think something that I mentioned in my presentation was something that I believe in is if you work hard enough, if you're really, really passionate about what you're doing, no matter what, success will follow you. So you don't have to go after success. Success will come after you.
Mm,
You just be passionate about what you're doing. I was not expecting any awards. I was the last person that was thinking about going to the United Nations. I put in the application thinking about, I know I'm not gonna get selected. However, let me just, let's do it
well
and let's
done.
get over it. But if I did it again, anyone can do it. So that's a big piece of advice. Be passionate, and if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it means that you're doing something wrong. And I would
It's
highly
not for
recommend
you.
chasing dreams. There's always space for improvement and passion and hard work, and if you tick those boxes, then again success will come.
That's that's an amazing set of wise sentences from a young shoulders. Honestly, that's really good to hear that from you as well. And I take my hat off to you for being so open and honest, and proud of your roots, proud of the way you dress. Not many people have the confidence to do that everywhere and anywhere, and you do that, and you take leadership so seriously, and you deliver on it. So I mean, I guess you're now working. Is it as a in a job environment in a company? I take it. Um,
Yes, I'm working at Enterprise Center Car.
all right. Okay. Yeah. And what are you doing there?
So I'm a management trainee. So we are given some sort of captaincies there. So throughout my placement, what I will be learning is how to run a business in different sectors. So the customer service side and the finance side, and there will be different sort of experience that I will be able to get from this amazing placement.
Amazing, amazing. We have a question here. What would be your advice for the students who are joining university on how they can plan ahead? What would you say?
Um, to be honest, the thing that I've done, I think my experience has been different from what my friends have done. Usually, people at my age, they don't really care about experience. They care about university life, and that's totally understandable. There is nothing wrong with that. However, my experience was different because my sisters had a master's degree in marketing, and she was still not able to get a job. That's the reason why my family moved to England. And one thing that I made sure of was, if I want to carry on studying and if I want a nice job, I need to make sure that I do something about it. I think our life, our career is in our own hands. Please do enjoy your university life. I enjoyed mine. I have my best friends there. Thanks to the society that I joined, we meet all the time. We laugh, we giggle, we do everything. But however, always please be aware that after those 3 or 4 years of university life, there is going to be a life changing moment for yourself when you're gonna go into the world of working industry. It's different there. It's not the same, and not everybody's going to be nice with you. So it's always good to sort of prepare yourself ahead. That's what I've done with myself. I always wanted to have some work experience because, as you know, I think when you get, especially if you're a graduate, there is so much competition out there for graduate roles. If you want to stand out in the crowd, you have to make sure that you have something unique that others don't have. In my experience, for what I have been able to do was getting some amazing experience, not only with becoming the president of Enterprise, not Enterprise, apologies, in Actors, the Wolfer University, but I have always also, been able to become a team leader and has some Packer experience as well beforehand. I'm not asking you, okay, if you want to become, I don't know, manager, then let's get going with, a team leader job or just like I've done. Any sort of job experience, I think would be all right, because what employers are looking for is for if you can actually work in a workplace, if you have the communication skills, if you can work in a team, that's what they want to see. They don't actually care about you actually having experience. They know that you don't have actual management experience because you
Yeah,
just graduated.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
why you are here, but
Mm,
they want to trust you with the training that they provide you. So if you have some sort of experience beforehand, then you can utilize that to get a nice job afterwards. That's something that I did, I personally did, and it works. It did work for me. So that's, I think, the suggestion that I would like to give. Think ahead, enjoy your life. I'm enjoying mine. However, always take some time, reflect on what you want to do in the future, and get some time to get some experience. If you love marketing, for example, you don't actually have to have a nice marketing experience. However, if you know what industry is like, if you are good on your own social media platform, you can use your own experience getting a nice job. So I think it just depends on how you phrase the things and how you actually think things work. Because sometimes you have the skills, however you don't realize it until someone else tells you. So that's something that I would like to, say,
yeah.
suggest.
No, that's really good advice to all the young people that are listening out there. So to finish off, then where are you? Where do you go from here? So what are your plans? What does your future hold about your passion and your
Uh,
journey?
That's a very tough question. I think for myself, I know where I see myself in the future. I think especially this trip to New York, being at the United Nations, have been giving me some sort of insight of what I actually prefer doing. I actually love helping people. That's something that I have always done in my whole life. Since I was a kid, my parents had taught me, always be nice and kind to others, be happy in others' happiness. That's what I always did, and it actually makes me feel nice. It makes me feel better when I help someone else. So that's something that I'm planning to do in my near future as
Mhm.
well. I want to be a business woman. However, that's something probably not in the near future. However, but there is something that I'm trying to work on at the moment after gaining some experience from Enterprise, because it's an amazing business where they actually train you on how to actually run a business.
Mhm.
So I think what my plans are is basically being a bit more sustainable and do something with sustainability. Um, regarding my own business that I want to open. So that's I'm not gonna I don't want to
Yes.
give you the exact
No,
details because
no,
again,
of course,
future
yeah.
is unpredicted. However,
Mm.
I will try my best to open a nice and small sustainable business. And when I say sustainable, it doesn't only mean that it's financially sustainable. I've always believed in the SDG goals, so I will try my best to enhance them. However, I've not seen the future. I might change it. I've no idea, but that's something that it's in my mind at the moment.
Oh, I mean, based on your, you know, journey so far, I have absolutely no doubts that whatever you put your mind to, you will achieve it. And it's so nice to hear young people talking about, helping other people and feeling the happiness in just doing that without it being about earning lots of money. And that is the way. That is the way to improve and change the world. So it's been great listening to you. I could hear you all day long, and I'm sure you're going to be a success. If you want to help with volunteering with Celebrate Our Similarities, you're always welcome. And do please bring along anybody else that you may think may be interested. We're doing various things there, and in fact, we've got networking. So we're encouraging freelancers and SMEs and individuals to come walking by the canal and just mingle and meet other people of similar minds, kind of thing. It's working really well so far. So yeah, we welcome you on that. But Taranjeet, for us, this has been an absolute pleasure to be talking to you, and I feel honoured that Manavutsa has enabled me to have this chat with you. So I thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you so much for having me here. One thing that I want to say before going is, if anyone needs any sort of help, you might be a student or you are not a student, or any sort of help that you think I can help you with, please. My LinkedIn profile is just the link is just I think below.
Yes,
If you just connect with me, I will try my best to help you out. I am currently on a placement, so please do not expect that I will be responding straight away. However, I will try my best to help you out in any sort of way that I can, and at least I can direct you to the right sort of support if I am able to.
that is fantastic. That's what we need, all people to be like that. This world will be a much better place. Thank you. Thank you, Taranjeet.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Manavutsa. Over to you.